Okay, guys, it's Khalif, Fat Guy, Skinny Wallet, back again with another one of these Ask Me Anything answer videos. So this one hopefully will... Actually, I'm not sure if this is going to be short because of the topic, but there's only two questions and they kind of mirror each other. So let's just get into it. But let me just remind you guys that you can still ask me anything. Just click on the link above or send me a private message, and I'll make sure to do a video answering your question the best that I can. So these two questions both cover inspiration. So Alicia, Miss Beautiful Alicia asks, what or who inspires you and what or who motivates you? All right, so I mean, there are a few people for this, and actually this came up, I believe, on the Renew show maybe a week ago. But who motivates me? Now I'm going to talk about off of YouTube and then come back and talk about that. But people in my life who motivate me, actually my dad does. And the reason why is because when I was growing up, I didn't know anyone who was more dedicated to being fit than he was. He was a fighter. He was actually a karate champion for about like 5 years. He held the light heavyweight title in some federation. I don't know what, but he was a world champion. So, you know, my dad was a fighter and he was in amazing shape. And what I loved about him is he was so aggressive and so athletic, and he would just work out on a heavy bag. He would put on this jazz or put on this old like R&B from the 60s and 70s, and his whole workout was very rhythmic, and he would just to whatever the rhythm is. If you listen to a fast-paced song, he would be sweating like crazy because he would be hitting the bag, he would be ducking, throwing kicks, punch, and whatever he could. And what he would do, so he wouldn't just rip up his hands, he would put duct tape on his hands, and he would just go, and those were his gloves. He would just put duct tape because he still wanted to be able to go bare knuckle, but he didn't want to rip up his hands to the point where he had to take a couple days off for it to heal and develop calluses. So he would do that, and just watch him, he would sweat so much that by the end of the workout, the acid from the sweat would have dissolved the tape, the sticky part, the tacky part of the tape, and he would just be able to take the tape. It was, like I said, it was cover his whole hand all the way up. He would be able to take the tape and pull it off, and it wouldn't stick to anything. It would be like wet. I mean, he just was so intense, and that's where I got a lot of my intensity from, with with playing sports, with working out. And the thing was, he was very intelligent. And so you would see, we would spar together, and we would fight, and me, as this kid, we would do things, and just as how, I don't know, it was just a lot. I'm not just making this whole video just about my dad, but it was very impressive, not just because of the physical capabilities, but because of the mental determination that it took to sit there for 2 hours every night and work out. And the thing is he worked far. He had to drive like an hour and a half between the actual commute and the sitting in traffic. He'd be in his car for an hour and a half there, hour and a half back, and working, and he'd come back in and he'd do that every night. So that just like amazed me there. So that was like a big person who motivated me in thinking about what he used to put his body through. And we used to lift weights together once I got like around 12 years old, something like that. So that was somebody. There's a guy at my church, I've talked about him, told this story before, maybe, I don't know if here or just on Renew, but this guy in my church who was a Marine and was training to be a Navy SEAL, and he was a Golden Gloves champion for back-to-back years, boxing, and in the state of New Jersey. And we worked out together at least once. Everybody said how crazy he was with his workouts, and I love that. So this was the first workout I ever did as this guy who's 290 pounds, 5'6", and we worked out, and I almost died. So from that day forward, I said I don't ever want to be in a position where my body is so out of shape that it fails me. And he really would take his time, and we worked out a few times together, and he really would push me, motivate me. I would see some of the stuff he would do. And he came home with a big telephone pole and was doing workouts with that. And I've never seen anybody work out like that. He would work out on his own, go run, and then he would do his stuff with the other guys who was training to be Navy SEALs, the swimming, everything. Then he would come back and go to a boxing gym and do his workouts there. So, yeah, he motivated me too. And, there are a few other people. As I also said, I think on Renew, that my wife was somebody who really inspired me. Is someone who really inspires me, because when she sets her mind to do something, even when she is ill, she is able to push through and do it most of the time. Sometimes the illness is just too much. But if she can muster any energy at all, she has this ability to channel all of her energy into one task. It's like some of those weird Japanese cartoons where the guys have power and they're like, take a ball of energy and just draw. That's how it is. She just gets all her energy together and then throws it at this one task. And I love her ability to do that. Now, Felicia Nurse asks, who was your first YouTube inspiration? Okay, now the funny thing is with YouTube, I didn't know that people did this. I thought that YouTube was a place that people put up old songs that you couldn't hear anymore, and you would just go check them songs out, and that was it. It wasn't until someone at my church challenged me to a push-up challenge, and I said, okay, but if we're going to do this, I already had my website, fatguyskinny.com. I already had that blog running, so I said I'll put up all the videos of all of us doing push-ups on my blog. Every 2 weeks we'll report in with these videos. Well, only place I knew that where you can upload a video and then embed it to a site was YouTube. So I came on YouTube, started doing that, and then I found this guy, Big Man Shrinking, who had a website, and he said, I'm part of the YouTube weight loss community group on Facebook, and do you want to be a part of it? You're trying to lose weight, and I see you have a couple videos up, even though they're just push-ups. I said, oh yeah, okay. And then I found, about 30, 40 people from there, subscribed to them on YouTube, and saw that they would just sit in front of a camera talking about their lives. They were sitting in the gym, with a camera on, showing things they doing to work out. They would come every week and tell you what they weigh. They would drive and do videos. I'm like, this stuff is real. People would sit and talking about their lives on YouTube. Then you find out some people have been doing it for years. And so through all of that, it's, I guess, my first, I don't know if I can say inspiration. I think we throw those words around too much. Somebody who motivated me to get up off my butt was Rick, or Richard. What is his channel name? The Gear Jammer. He was actually one of my Fat Guys Fitness faves. And this guy he started out 500 something pounds, and the way he would work out, and he would really, a guy would lose 10, 12 pounds a week, and he just one day just say, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being fat like this, and he just would go hard. And going hard for him, was different than somebody who's 200 pounds going hard. But, 'cause you can't just destroy your body trying to lose all the weight in one day. But he would go out, and I remember one time, he's down south somewhere. I remember one time he got a gym membership at the Y. Now first, this guy, he was so big he couldn't weigh himself at home. He had to go to the recycling plant or something like that to weigh himself, because he was too big for a scale that you can buy and set up in your house. So he would go there, but then he also decided to get a gym membership at the Y and go swim and do hit on the punching bag and stuff. And one day he decided, I'm going to walk 4 miles to the Y. He was probably in the 400s then. I'm going to walk, to the Y and try to walk back. And I think he walked and he got 2.5 or 3 miles, and then he had to call his wife because the heat was just too much for him, at his size. So, but that was someone who motivated me. And then soon after that, someone who first I would say motivated, two other people I could think of who really motivated me and then I can say actually inspire me. And this went dead. Okay, first, and if you watch Fat Guy's Fitness Phase, which you should have seen them all. They both have been fitness phase. The first one was actually my very first fitness phase, Julie Wilson. And what stood out to me about her was that she did not let her life become an excuse. I mentioned, I think on the Renew show, when we talked about who inspires you, that I remember her doing a workout. She recorded herself working out with her young baby. I don't know how old Taylor was then, but I'm like 2-3 months, something like that, with the baby like in one of those swaddling holder things. She was strapped to her chest, and she did like walk away to pounds with a baby strapped to her chest. I think the baby was sick or something was going on where she couldn't lay her down without her, being agitated. So she had to hold her close to her, and she did that and said, I'm still going to get my workout in. Just having 4 kids. Her husband works a different shift each week. He rotates his shift, so it's not as if they have one steady schedule that they stick to. There's a lot of other things, other dynamics that go on that I don't know if she's ever discussed, so I'm not going to discuss them. But I know about them, and I know that she doesn't let any of those things get in the way. Whatever time she has, she will throw into working out, even though she has to feed people who love food and has other people in her life who come over and bring food who love food themselves. She still manages to prepare healthy things for herself. She doesn't just say, well, I have to eat this because my mother-in-law brought this over, or because my husband likes this type of food and that's what I'm cooking for him. I have to eat this and go off my game. She doesn't do that. She wouldn't make any excuses. And so I really took that, because for me, I was someone who I couldn't afford a gym membership. I didn't have any fancy equipment in the house. I had, in the beginning, I had nothing. All I did was body weight exercises, and I did high intensity interval training with just body weight exercises. Then I got a weighted vest and a pair of adjustable dumbbells. I've done reviews on both of those. And, I did that, and that was all I had, and I had to make that work. And watching someone like that, I could never say, I don't have a gym membership. I don't have a barbell. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't know this. I can't afford this. I don't have the time for that. I couldn't make any of those excuses seeing somebody else work that hard with so many things fighting against her. So she was probably the first one that I can call an inspiration, and not just someone who, because there's a lot of people, you could watch someone's video, watch them working out hard, they could put some real hype music behind them, and you listen and you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to hit the gym now, look what they just did, and you about to go out and go crazy, right? They motivated you, they pushed you. But who is someone who inspires you, who actually like gets inside of you, and when you're not watching them, you're still thinking about, well, you know what, either you can say, I can't let them down, or you know what, they fought through this, and I could fight through it too, and really think about them. And she was probably the first one outside of my, the circle, the people who I just said, really my dad, thinking about him, the memories of him as a kid, and then also my wife. She was the first one who was outside of my circle, someone who I never met and didn't know, who I could watch. And the next one was Barbie, Journey for a Healthier Me, who is also a Fat Guy Fitness fave. And same thing with her, just the workout. She does all these, she kind of makes up she does what she wants with her workouts, but she makes sure that she puts in the work. She has done a complete transformation, and she has her kids being healthy. Her eating is, I eat some things. My wife and I, we eat things that we're trying to be healthy, and most people look at us like we're weird. If we break out chia seeds or nutritional yeast instead of cheese, or just the green vibrants and things like that. People are like, well, that's weird and crazy. And she was the first one that I saw eating everything that we eat, and everything that she eats. I'm like, oh, we have some of that. We do that. That's how I make my smoothies. But seeing her do it on a consistent basis and do it for every meal, and she just was really revamped, her health. And what I love about her is that she had what people call loose skin, and it's not really loose skin. for the most part. When people say they have loose skin, it's the fat that you see. I mean, you don't have 50 pounds of skin. You know, when you were 500 pounds, you probably didn't have that 50 pounds of skin. But anyway, you know, it's the fat that's attached to the skin, and because when we lose weight, we usually don't do a good enough job of burning fat before we get satisfied. We, you know, have the loose, what we call loose skin. We just have a bunch of loose fat that's attached to the skin, or right under the skin. So anyway, why I bring that up is because she had that same problem. She had the sagging skin and fat and the hanging, you know, body parts, and she just worked and is constantly burning fat and doing these intense exercises and still eating right, so that her body, all of that is shrinking. And, you know, she's given herself her own plastic surgery by constantly working to lower her body fat. And I just love that, because, and that's what her motivation is. You know, that skin and that the sagging fat that she is constantly getting rid of. And every time she does a body shot or something, she looks remarkable. So yeah, that's the other inspiration. Well, so those are the two people I can say actually inspire me. And there are people now, even when I look at like the weightlifting. I mean, you know, I've talked about my man Brian, who, you know, with the low testosterone is still just constantly gaining strength and changed the way he looked physically. You know, my man Dan changed the way he looked physically. You know, even my man Dennis, Freaky D, you know, he's somebody who I watch his workouts and everything, and just the way he approaches, you know, fitness, and, you know, just really love that. And that's someone who motivates me. Watching him, like I said, watching Brian, watching even Herbie, you know, these guys really push me and motivate me, and I love that. You know, I love seeing that. So, and there's a lot of other people who push me and motivate me. It's inspire to me is a much deeper word, because that's just someone who gets at the root of what you're doing and why. That's a lot more than someone who just had you amped up to go attack the gym, or amped up to avoid pizza the next day. So that's it. I have no idea how long this video is, but it's probably way too long. So anyway, if you dare to ask me anything else, again, click the link above, or just send me a private message. Remember, no profanity, nothing vulgar, and I'll definitely get an answer to you. Alright guys, talk to you next time.